Studies show that a diet of ultra-processed foods can impact your memory and your mental health.
In today's HealthCast, a study found that ultra-processed foods are linked to a decline in memory. That research presented at the Alzheimer's Association International Conference following more than 10,000 people over 9 years.
What if I told you your favorite food could be harming your brain before you even gain weight? The shocking reason may be the oil it's cooking in. Now, fried food is usually blamed for heart problems. We all know that. But there's a twist. Neuroscience suggests it may be affecting your brain, especially your memory. Out of curiosity, I was reading this thing the other day, and it honestly blew my mind. Like we all know, fried food is bad for health, especially when it comes to heart attack, cholesterol, and even inflammation in the body. But I am surprised that nobody ever talks about what it does to our memories, which is absolutely crazy, because it literally messes with our brains. And that is a serious problem, not only for adults, but also for growing kids as well. You know, in the real world, the amount of money the fried food industry makes is whooping $112.5 billion in 2022. $112.5 billion in 2022. That's insane. And it is projected to reach $158.3 billion by 2030. Look how much we are consuming fried food in the world. And not to forget, if humans like something to eat that has a crunch to it, and it is tasty, it comes with a price. What is that price we have to pay? Interestingly, in neuroscience, there's this thing called the hippocampus. What it does, it is basically the safe button in your head. And when you eat deep fried snacks, especially the stuff cooked in those real cheap, nasty seed oils, your body goes into this massive inflammation mode. And it is true. Surprisingly, just like a Mother Nature, there is good and bad. Yes, if you see there's evil and God, then there is good and bad. Our brains have this fence around them, and we call it the brain barrier or blood-brain barrier. In cancer patients, they use the brain barrier drug to treat cancer. So what is the main function of the blood-brain barrier? The function is to keep the bad stuff out. The barrier helps remove metabolic waste products from the brain. So what does it do? Basically, keeping our brains healthy. Think about it that way. But inflammation caused by bad oils can damage this protective wall. It is true. It is almost like punching holes in a fence. And this allows harmful toxins and waste to leak into the brain. This is exactly why you get that weird brain fog, or like when you walk into the room and totally forget why you went in there. This happens to many of us, isn't it? This feels like your brain is literally under attack, and it's insane. You may feel satisfied by eating your favorite deep-fried food, but look at how it is damaging your brain. But you should also know something important that changes the whole story. What is that story and what it is important to know? Recently, I was just looking into the neuroscience, where we have this thing called the vagus nerve. And I was looking into that part too. Seriously, your gut and your brain are basically always texting each other. Remember, just like we use Facebook, Instagram, or even WhatsApp, what happens to the brain-gut connection? Imagine this: if your stomach is just full of inflammatory oil, it just screams at your brain that something is wrong. You get super tired and your memory totally tanks. Your brain is just in a mess. And all that frying stuff at super high heat create these things that basically act like rust. And that's true. You must have seen in the iron rod when it rusts. It's exactly like that. It rusts your brain. And not to be surprised that it literally rusts your brain cells from the inside. I want you to open your eyes and see what the price we are paying just to feel the goodness of that crunch. Deep fried food items. And if you're like me and you spend a lot of time working alone, you kind of need your brain to be super sharp. You can't just let it rust out over some fries or deep fried chicken. I want you to think about it. We usually think junk food slowly damages our health if we keep eating all that crunchy food over many years. There's the twist in the theory of neuroscience I always keep saying, which says it can affect you much faster. In just few days, please listen to this. In just few days, eating a lot of fatty food can mess your memory, even before you notice any weight gain. And this is a serious problem, because any changes that happens to your brain, like losing neurons, gray and white matter, please remember this: it cannot be replaced. And to make it more interesting, in the University of North Carolina, this is what they found happens inside your brain during first 4 weeks. Imagine, with all that bad stuff that happens inside your brain, within hours, imagine this, within hours of eating high-fat food, fried foods, your brain's defenses starts to fail. The protective wall around your brain starts to let trash in. And the reality is that shouldn't be there. Then what happens? If you continue, within 48 hours, your brain experiences a spike in inflammation, causing chemicals like TNF, alpha, and IL-6. This is the internal fire that precedes behavior changes. By the 72-hour mark, your hippocampus, the brain's recording studio, shows significant deficits in recognition memory. You aren't just tired, your brain is struggling to process new data. The fourth day is a critical turning point. It involves a specific group of cells called CCK interneurons. Even though you are eating high-calorie food, the usable fuel glucose in your memory hub actually drops. These CCK cells are like traffic cops that keep signals organized. They do that. In this low fuel state, remember this, they panic and become hyperactive. This hyperactive creates static in your brain rhythms, making it nearly impossible to distinguish between similar memories. And if the high-fat food diet continues past the first week, the damage shifts from scrambled signals, remember this, to actual structural loss. Shortly after the memory issue starts, you may notice a dip in the mood or drive. And by the end of the first week, there is a 25 reduction in synaptic density. Essentially, the plugs in your brain cells used to talk to each other starts to disappear. And after a month, the cell's power plants, mitochondria, and support cells, astrocytes, begin to fail or become chronically inflamed. This is when temporary brain fog starts looking like a long-term cognitive decline. But with all that bad stuff, I have a good news. And what is that? Out of fear, you don't have to go crazy and only eat raw veggies forever. In neuroscience, this usually happens when your brain region like amygdala is hyperactive. By acknowledging all of this, what is happening inside your brain. So what you need to do is limit the use of your vegetable oil at home for deep frying. As simple as that. You can use avocado oil, ghee, or any other oil like olive oil or something on those lines. Or if you're still wanting crunch, then honestly, just get an air fryer and spray the oil on top of it. I'm sure you'll still get the crunchy food, but without soaking your brain in total sludge. And if you're out there with friends and you just really want to eat the fries, don't be in guilt, just eat them. But just have something with it to fight the inflammation. That's what I want you to do. Like turmeric or dark berries or broccoli sprouts or even fiber. It is exactly like doing damage control. That's the trick. And also I'd like to share something that even Neuroscience have come up with. It's a weird trick, but 100% it works. Imagine if you're feeling super foggy or sluggish. You know, just like you've eaten a lot of food, you're full, and you're feeling sluggish. Then just do this one trick. Just splash of freezing cold water on your face. That's it. What it'll do, it will shock the vagus nerve and kind of resets everything back to normal. Comment this below if you're willing to try this hack. And please do not use this trick. I repeat this. Please do not use this trick if you have migraine or sinus problems, or even if you have a history of heart attack. And above all, if you ask me, to be honest, just try not eating anything deep fried food for 1 week. I bet you you will stop forgetting things as much. It is wild, but it's true. And lastly, please clean up all that mess from your brain and keep it healthy. Take care of your brain and it'll take care of you. I'll see you next time on a new video. Thank you.